And a good afternoon as we welcome you back to Pete Lean Field for day two of the state tournament. Joining me, John Winkler alongside Greg Dean here in just a little bit as we'll face off against this Renner team and a chance to, one, stay alive in this in the state tournament, but also a chance to play later on tonight against the loser of Brandon Valley and as well as Post 22 as those two teams won yesterday. Renner lost 6-2 in game one, as it was the Brandon Valley team. They won 12-2 over Pierre in game one of the state tournament after an hour and 34-minute rain delay. And Greg, both states, it's a tale of two games, and it really was a just like two games. Post State was up 2-0 before the rain delay, got outscored 12-0 after the rain delay, and losing 12-2. And now their backs are against the wall, and now you kind of hope there's no more rain delays here the rest of the state tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Post State, what to do today is just come out and play the style of ball that they have played all year long. And for a senior laden team, the upside and maybe the downside is the fact that this is a loser out game. So whoever loses this game goes home. Hopefully it's not Post State, because it would end the careers of 10 of these seniors. There is a potential for a couple of them to potentially come back as super seniors, but for a number of them, it'll be the last time they put on a uniform that says Pierre across their chest.
Yeah, and this is a two teams will be eliminated here today. The first one will be in this ball game, and then the second one will be the final ball game of day, as the two winners, the winner of game number 2 and the winner of game number 3, will meet in the state championship tomorrow. And Post State has a lot of work in front of them, and they're going to go against Renner's number 1. And although when you look at it, Pierre's going to have their number 1 on the mound, and that's the kind of where you sit at is you can't lose in the state tournament. You can't be eliminated in the state tournament with your number 1 not coming into pitch at all. Arbogast is ready to go in this game after having his 4 days rest. The same with Garrett Stout on his 4 days rest, and this is going to be an excellent pitching matchup, just like what was set yesterday as well.
Yeah, and Reese Arbogast is one of the best left-handers in South Dakota. The rising senior and SDSU commit really has a nice arsenal of pitches. Good fastball, not very big kid, probably stands about 5'9", but really changes speeds well, really spots the ball well. And then on the other side, going against him is Garrett Stout, Pierre's SDSU commit. So when we've talked about Garrett all season long, and I'm sure we'll talk about him a lot during the broadcast. So this is going to be a game where it certainly lines up like runs will be at a premium today.
Although Pierre is the technical number 3 seed in this state tournament and Renner the number 4 seed, it is going to be Renner that's the home team here. Although they play better at home, they're a much better home team than they are a road team. Obviously, it's a road matchup no matter what. You're not at your home field, but they have liked to be that road team in tournaments, and so they will be the road team here in game number 1 of the day and looking to keep their season alive here in 2020. We'll come back with starting lineups here in just a little bit. We'll take a 3-minute break. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Pete Lean Field, getting set for this ball game against Renner, Pierre and Renner in the elimination ball game, as it is for Post State. Garrett Stout that will be on the mound. He'll go against Reese Arbogast. As we go through the starting lineups, we'll first go with the starters for Post State, the visitors on the scoreboard here in this first game of the day. Andrew Coverdale, he will lead things off playing second base. River Iverson, the left fielder, as he bats second. Garrett Stout is the pitcher batting third. They've flip-flopped Coverdale and Stout back to how they originally had this season going, with Coverdale leading off and Stout more in the three-hole. Andy Gordon will bat fourth, playing first base. Matt Lusk will bat fifth, play center field. Jack Van Camp's the right fielder, batting sixth. Lincoln Keenels will bat seventh to play shortstop. A.J. Gaines at third base. He's batting eighth, and Cade Hinkle is the catcher as he bats ninth here to round out the order for Post State. For Renner, Zach Riddle will lead things off. He's out in left field. It is Brock Schaefbauer, the third baseman, batting second. Will Waschenberger is the first baseman, batting third. Dalton Garber's the DH. He's in the cleanup spots. It'll be Tegan Schlemgen, the catcher, batting fifth. Mason Runya, the shortstop, batting sixth. Keaton Hackman, the second baseman, will bat seventh. Aspen Dahl, the right fielder, batting eighth. And Sam Stukel is the center fielder as he bats ninth for Renner. And, of course, Reese Arbogast is on the mound here for Renner 307 Royals, as both teams look to keep their season alive here in this ball game. And, Greg, this is going to, pitching is going to be a big factor in this game. Both number ones for these teams, and you expect with these teams averaging around 7 and 6 runs a game here in the postseason that it'll probably be a little bit smaller than that, but it's going to take could take some small ball to get this job done today.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the key. And again, we talked about the fact that the teams that do well, the teams that perform well at the end of the season, are the teams that limit their mistakes and do the little things right. And yesterday, unfortunately, Post State was not able to do that, and so hopefully a good night's rest and about 18 hours, and hopefully they can turn it around and do a 180 from yesterday.
As it is, Renner and Post State starting lineups are being announced right now. We'll step aside for 3 minutes, come back with the first pitch. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back to Pete Lean Field, set for Game 1, and hopefully just the first game of the day for Post State, and they have a second game upcoming as Reese Arbogast has taken them out. He's got his warm-up tosses going, and Post State and Renner will fight for their 2020 season here this afternoon here in Rapid City. As it'll be Andrew Coverdale to lead things off. He'll be followed by River Iverson, Garrett Stout, then Andy Gordon, Matt Lusk, Jack Van Camp, Lincoln Keenels, A.J. Gaden, Cade Hinkle. The 9 hitters for Post State. No DH, the old National League lineup for Post State. And I got to throw a second one in there this weekend with an old National League lineup.
There you go.
make everybody feel old again from 2019. This left-hander for Reese Arbogast, saw him saw him back at the beginning of the season. Him and Austin Henry both threw against Post State, ended up getting a win over Renner, and hope the same thing here for this ball game as Andrew Coverdale will step to the plate.
Yeah, Coverdale, one of the leaders in virtually every statistical category for Post State, comes in hitting .427 on the year, 61 hits and 143 at-bats.
First pitch is over for strike one. We're underway here at 1:58 local time, 2 minutes ahead of schedule. Glad you could join us here on this beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Rapid City. The 0-1 pitch from Arbogast to Coverdale is high and outside for ball one, and it is now 1-1. Yesterday it was Coverdale who had 2 hits, the only guy with 2 hits in the ball game for Post State. As the 1-1 pitch, that one's fouled back, and it's now 1-2. He's hitting .562 here in the playoffs, and they put him back to the leadoff spot to put their best hitter, their most consistent hitter, up to the top of the order and try and get that lineup going right away. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Arbogast to Coverdale. There's a fly ball out towards right center field, moving over as the right fielder, and he'll make the catch in Aspinall. And the leadoff man is retired to open up the ball game. Bring up River Iverson.
Yeah, just you can see that Arbogast really likes to work that curveball, and it's a really good curveball. That when it was on its way to the plate, sitting up here in the press box, we could see that it looked like he was going to be far outside, and then it breaks back pretty well on over the outside part of the plate, and Coverdale did a nice job going with it, but unfortunately just hung up too long, and the right fielder Dahl was able to run underneath it.
River Iverson was able to foul one off to the right side, and Bill Van Camp was able to tell the umpire there's a loose baseball over here on the over where Greg had pointed out, and obviously up here in the press box can't do too much about it, but able to get that loose baseball and can save, hopefully, and will save some injury if any ball got hit over there. That's a dangerous play with that baseball sitting there.
Or confusion if you got 2 balls, you got ball going to the backstop, and all of a sudden you got 2 balls. You're not sure which one's the one in play.
The 0-1 pitch is inside, and it's 1-1 to Iverson. Iverson is batting average still at .428 in the playoffs through 5 games so far this 2020 season. Here's the 1-1 pitch. There's a line shot out into left center field. Going back to the left fielder, and Riddle's going to go over his head, and it'll be extra bases for Iverson. He'll round second. He's going to try for third and ends up falling over the base at second, and will dive back in with a 1-out double. It's the second time we've seen a Post State player trip over a base in 2 games. Iverson seems to be okay. Just a little bit of some pride hurt on that one, and but it's still a 1-out double for Iverson.
Yeah, the third time we've seen a Post State player go down. McGuire Rasky fell going around first base on what probably would have been a double last night against Brandon. And then Andy Gordon slipped as he was trying to retreat to go back to third base or first base on an overthrow last night. So maybe at the end of the year, the cleats maybe aren't quite as sharp as they were back in the 1st of June.
This is game number 49 for Post State this season as Garrett Stout swings and misses at strike one. Stout back in the number 3 spot. That's where he had been for quite some time this year. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Here's a ground ball on the right side. That's through for a base hit. Iverson's going to round third. He's going to try and score. The throw will come to the plate. It's a low throw, and Iverson will score as the ball will get away and allow Stout to take second. And Post State, just like they did yesterday, will strike first here in the first inning on the RBI single from Garrett Stout.
Yeah, and on the throw that came in from Dahl in right field, just kind of a ball that got through the infield, through the hole between first and second, and just kind of died on the outfield grass, and Dahl had to come a long way in to get to the ball. came up throwing, and unfortunately for Renner, Arbogast was out of position. He was backing up the throw more towards the first base side of home plate. The ball coming in from right field went past Schlimgen and all the way to the backstop, and Arbogast was out of position. And with that, Garrett Stout's able to take the extra base, and now he's in scoring position with one out.
As the count is 0-1 to Andy Gordon, and the way that throw was so low that Stout wasn't able to take second until that ball got away from the catcher. So it's an error on the right fielder, as Gordon will chop it to the right side. He's going to get Stout over to third. Almost took a high hop over the second baseman and Hackman, but he still didn't make the play. And it's now 2 down and a runner over at third base for Matt Lusk to try and drive in that second run of the ball game. So it was a single and an error that right now they have 2 hits, and obviously Pierre does have 2 hits, but they don't have the error up on the scoreboard, as Stout would not have taken that bag without a bad throw, without a bad play by the catcher and right fielder. Arbogast will work from the windup. Here's the first pitch to Matt Lusk. That's outside for ball 1.
Arbogast is a name you will hear this winter when the Governors play Sioux Falls O'Gorman. When Renner first started, and I think a number of their kids still do. O'Gorman was kind of the feeder program for Renner when this program first started about 10 years ago, and I think they still get a lot of kids out of O'Gorman High School.
2-0 is the count to Matt Lusk. He went 1 for 2 yesterday. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one is going to be over for strike 1. 3:33 here in the postseason. He doubled for his 1 hit that he had yesterday. And he came around to score the game's second run. Was the last time that Pierre scored. 2-1 pitch. Ground ball on the left side, and it's off the hands of Coach Brian White over at third base, and it's now 2-2.
86 degrees at game time here in Rapid City. 8 today wearing their black tops with green accents, green letters, white outlines, gray pants. Renner, blue tops, white letters, and white pants.
2-2, grounded towards Coach White again at third. He'll wisely let that one go, and it goes into the tarp. So that's going to be one for the backup catcher and Evers in this ball game. You might have to crawl into the tarp to try and get that foul ball. Count is 2-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. You are listening to KCCR Pierre Riverfront Broadcasting Station, just past the 3 o'clock hour back in Pierre. There's a hard line drive base hit for Matt Lusk, and it's 2-0. He continues to swing a solid bat here in the postseason. And it's a 2-0 lead on the RBI single from the center fielder. And Post State isn't quite done yet here in the top of the first.
Yeah, and we talked about it before, John, that sometimes even though you are a really good pitcher, sometimes just getting through that first inning, you're not quite warm. You haven't maybe gotten a feel for the game quite yet. Sometimes that first inning can be your real bugaboo, and so for Post State right now, they're taking advantage of some pitches that Arbogast is leaving up in the zone.
Here is Jack Van Kam. Runner will take off for second on the first pitch. The throw is not going to be in time. Standing up with a steal is Matt Lusk. Went on first movement from Arbogast. Stole second easily. It was taken for strike 1 to Van Kam, who went 0 for 2 yesterday, batting .444 here in the postseason. And a base hit could drive in his third run of the postseason and give Post State a 3-0 lead here in the top of the first.
Post State hasn't seen a lot of left-handed pitchers this year, but with their left-handed heavy lineup, this Arbogast is the kind of pitcher that certainly could pose problems for Post State.
Count is now 0-2 to Jack Van Kam as he takes that one for a strike. As Arbogast from the stretch will come set. Here is the 0-2 to Van Kam. Swing and a miss, and down on strikes goes Van Kam, and that will retire the side here in the top of the first. 2 runs, no score on 3 hits in the inning, 1 error from Runner, and 1 man left on base. We have played half an inning, and Pierre leads 2-0. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the first inning. It is a 2-0 lead for the Eights as Renner comes to the plate for the first time. Zach Riddle will lead things off. Be Riddle, Schaefbauer, and Waschenberger. Garbers, Schlimgen, Runyup, Hackman, Dahl, and Stukel. The 9 hitters for Renner against Post State's number 1, Garrett Stout. Here's the first pitch. That one will miss inside for ball 1 to Zach Riddle, the left fielder. Riddle yesterday went 2 for 4 with 2 singles as he was hitting just 83 coming in to this postseason. The count is now 2-0 to the left fielder. Stout from the windup. Here's a 2-0 pitch. That one will be over for strike 1, and it's now 2-1. And Stout did not have a good performance against Harrisburg, but a chance to kind of get back over the hump and get a much better performance. He won now as a count. And the last time he threw on this mound, he threw a 5-inning shutout against Mitchell.
Yeah, and last time out, Garrett Stout just it was certainly not one of his best performances, but it was a performance where he just battled all night long and danced in and out of trouble. 9 walks on the night, but he paired that with 8 strikeouts and was able to evade a bunch of trouble. And for the Eights, they came away with a 10-2 win.
3-2 pitch misses low, and it's a leadoff walk to Zach Riddle, and I'll bring up Brock Schaefbauer. That game against Harrisburg, they allowed 15 free passes and also had 15 strikeouts as a team. Did Post State from the mound, and that's an unusual sight to see. And they threw a 1-hitter on top of it and had a shutout there. It just was one that just did not really make a whole lot of sense in the box score. First pitch is over for strike 1 to Schaefbauer.
Home plate umpire has a very delayed strike call. So if you hear John or I kind of hesitate for a second or two after the pitch, that's why, because the home plate ump is very deliberate with his call.
Yeah, those borderline pitches that could go either way, not too sure, as it was a bunt attempt that went foul by Schaefbauer. He did not play yesterday. He's just 2 for 4 so far in the postseason. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Stout will get a 3-pitch strikeout for his first of the ball game. And there's one out here in the bottom of the first, and they'll bring up Will Waschenberger, who has been mashing the ball lately. 4 doubles, a home run in the postseason, 5 extra base hits in 5 games for Waschenberger, as he came into the postseason, or came into this tournament batting .461, went 1 for 4 with a double and an RBI yesterday. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1. He's going to be the biggest threats from the bat for Renner here in this ball game.
Garrett Stout on the year. This is his 11th appearance. 32 innings. He is 6-1 on the year. It's his 9th start. 57 strikeouts to go with a 2.41 ERA. So Stout, not quite 2 strikeouts an inning, a little bit under that, but also exactly a walk an inning after that 9-walk performance the other night.
Count is at 2-0 here to Waschenberger. Stout from the stretch. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one will be over for strike 1. There's that delayed. When Hinkle caught it, it was pretty low, but the off-speed crossed at the knees, and the umpire stood up, then turned, and then had the strike call. So it's now 2-1 here to Waschenberger. 2-1 pitch upstairs, and it's now 3-1 here to the first baseman, the DH, Dalton Garbers, who, according to my stats, has not had an official at-bat of the postseason yet. He will be up to the plate. The number 4 hitter, I don't know if he was battling injury and was able to return here. 3-1 pitch is grounded foul down to the first base line, and the count is full. Second full count that Garrett Stout has had in 3 hitters. And with a game where you love to see your number 1 go all 7 innings, you don't want to have too many full count. You don't want to walk you don't want to walk a whole lot of guys. You don't want a whole lot of full counts either. 3-2 pitch. It will be a second walk issued from Garrett Stout, and it's now first and second here for Dalton Garbers. Keep the pitch count low because, one, you're probably going to have Garrett Stout go all 105 pitches. As soon as he gets above that 30 mark, you're probably going to have him, as long as he is having success, you're going to have him throw 105 pitches, and then you're probably going to go to Jack Van Camp or Matt Lusk after that, just because you want your top 3 pitchers to throw at some point here today, as Coach White will make his way out to talk with Garrett Stout after the first pitch to Garbers, misses outside for ball 1. You don't want to leave here today, or I guess don't want to be from the postseason. We kind of mentioned this yesterday, without your top three pitchers throwing, and that is Garrett Stout, Jack Van Camp, and Matt Lusk.
Yeah, and this mound visit is to some degree probably as much about just checking Stout mentally as much as anything else, and maybe making a mechanical adjustment. He looks like he's missing low and away, and so maybe it's in something as simple as making a slight adjustment on the rubber moving one way or another, or just adjusting the release point. But you just, he's right around the plate. He's just not missing by much.
Count is 1-0 as Stout will work from the stretch. 1-0 pitch. That one will be outside, and it's now 2-0. That one was pretty close from a couple strike calls that we had earlier in this first inning. On second base is Zach Riddle. At first is Waschenberger. Here's the 2-0 to Garbers. Upstairs, and it's now 3-0. And Stout's struggling to find the strike zone, and the last thing you want to see from Stout. And your number one guy is struggling to find that zone. Here's a 3-0 pitch. That one will miss. That's the third walk of the inning. Ground ball can still get you out of the inning. Here's Tegan Schlimgen, but you got to keep throwing strikes. Now, I will say this, too. If you go get Stout out early and maybe go with Jack Van Camp, Stout could come back and pitch later on tonight. Yep. As long as he doesn't throw 105 pitches in this game, he has 105 pitches for the day, so he can come back and pitch tonight. If you say we have confidence that he's going to be able to find it at some point today, just maybe not in this game, you can get him out early and save a lot of pitches for game two. But, of course, you got to get to game two here. 0-1 pitch to Schlimgen. Off speed is over, and it's now 0-2. Maybe you'll see Stout try and throw a couple more off-speed pitches to try and get that rhythm, as those have been the pitches that have seemed to hit the strike zone the most. Count is 0-2 from Stout to Schlimgen. The 0-2 pitch fouled away, and a good job there by the catcher and Schlimgen to stay alive on that off-speed pitch. He was well behind it and just battled it and fouled it off. And it stays at 0-2. From the stretch, here's the 0-2 again. Outside, and it's now 1-2.
Yeah, you're right, John. The fastball has been the pitch he's not been able to command so far today. The curveball, the off-speed stuff, he's had pretty good feel for so far.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. There's another foul ball out to the right side. And Schlimgen making Stout continue to throw extra pitches here in the first inning. 3 walks in the inning so far from Stout. The bases are loaded with 1 down here in the bottom of the first. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, and it's now 2-2. Post State leads 2-0 on an RBI single from Stout and an RBI single from Matt Lusk.
Post State has the infield in at the corners. They're midway back in the middle.
2-2. Misses low, and it's now 3-2. Well, you go off speed here on the 3-2 pitch just because that's the pitch that he's hit the strike zone with the most. His fastball is good, but so far in this game, the off speed has been what you've seen get over the plates. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing. Did he go? He did go, and he's out on strikes, and there's 2 down. And that will bring up Mason Runya back-to-back. Well, not back-to-back strikeouts, but 2 strikeouts here in as there are 2 outs, and time is called from Cade Hinkle to go talk with Garrett Stout. The umpire kept putting up the out call, and Schlimgen continued to kind of talk a little bit with the umpire and didn't get a whole lot of explanation from the umpire.
Yeah, and I don't think the umpire was exactly in the best mindset after about the 4th time that Schlimgen asked him about it, and Schlimgen, like you said, flipped his bat. He was ready to go to first base. Umpire rung him up, and then Schlimgen looked at the umpire, took about 3 steps as he was walking back, and then had about 4 questions for the umpire. And each time the umpire just held his hand up and with the sign said, "You're out."
Yeah, and the count is now 2-0 to Mason Runya. And I believe maybe what the question might have been from Schlimgen was it a call or a swing? Because that could make a difference. And just curious of where that pitch was at. And maybe the umpire wasn't giving him that pitch, as the count is now 2-1, or giving the answer to whether he swung or if it was. I know he did swing because the umpire pointed at him, but obviously Schlimgen did not see that point be had to him when he swung and missed at strike 3. There's the 2-1 that's fouled back off of Hinkle, and the count is now 2-2, and Stout is a strike away from getting out of this inning.
We'll see if that spills over into the near innings when Schlimgen being the Renner catcher. We'll see if that creates any additional interaction between Schlimgen and the umpire.
2-2's a swing and a miss, and Stout will strike out the side. He walked the bases loaded, but he's able to strike out all three in the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, 3 men left on base. 1 full inning. Pierre leads Renner 2-0. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Pete Lean Field, it is the top of the second inning, and it is a 2-0 lead for Post State. Stout tiptoed around danger in that first inning, walking the bases loaded, but also having 3 strikeouts in the inning. As it is going to be 7, 8, 9, Lincoln Knowles, A.J. Gayden, and Cade Hinkle to lead things off for the Eights. Lincoln Knowles 1 for 9 so far here in the postseason in 3 games. Hitting-wise, as he has thrown in 2 of them. The first pitch is over for strike 1 to Knowles. 1 for 9 with an RBI so far in those 3 games as he's been a hitter. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Arbogast to Knowles. There's a sharp line drive right to the shortstop in Runya, and that will retire the leadoff hitter for the second straight inning. And they'll bring up A.J. Gayden, the third baseman. And Gayden's looking to try and kind of turn things around now. He's 1 for 11 so far this postseason. That's everybody goes through somewhat of a slump. You just hope that it's not in the state tournament or in the playoffs. And unfortunately for Gayden, that's where it's kind of turned into him, because he has been a very good hitter all season for Post State as he takes inside for ball 1.
Gayden hitting .319 on the year, 30 hits and 94 at bats. But I think you hit on something from watching AJ all year. He can be a little streaky. Up at the Minot tournament, he was just on fire, and then he's gone through some stretches where he struggled a little bit at the plate. Postseason being one of them right now. But again, I think all it takes is one good at bat to get him rolling, and hopefully that starts today on this at bat.
Count is 1-2 to Gayden. Here is the 1-2 from Arbogast, the left-hander. Gayden will sky it foul on a play on the right side, and we will do it again at 1-2.
AJ's got probably one of the nicest and prettiest swings that you will see from a right-handed hitter. A lot of times you'll hear baseball aficionados, coaches talk about pretty swings from left-handers. Ken Griffey Jr., Don Mattingly being a couple, but you don't hear him talk about how nice how nice and good looking a swing is from a right-hander. And AJ's has got one of those nice swings, just big long swing, follows all the way through, and unfortunately it didn't help him this time around.
As he swings and misses, goes down for the second strikeout of the game for Arbogast, second out here of the second inning, and it will bring up Cade Hinkle with bases empty and 2 down. First pitch to him is over for strike 1. Hinkle has drawn 5 walks in 5 games. A 200 batting average, 2 for 10 so far. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That is outside, and it's now 1-1. When you look at it, it was been 11 walks in 5 games for Post State, and Cade Hinkle's got 5 of those 11 walks in the postseason. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That is on the outside corner and just missing, and it's now 2-1. And a little bit of hesitation from Schlimgen as he threw the ball back to Arbogast.
Hinkle, the team leader in walks for the year, 33. Next closest to him for the year is Andrew Coverdale with 16, more than twice the number of walks the second place guy has.
As there's a swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. Most of the time, and say if Post State would win the state championship or at least go to the final game. That's 4 games, including this one. They still have left. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and that's the second strikeout of the inning, and that will retire the side. But Andrew Coverdale could walk the rest of his at-bats and still not catch up to Cade Hinkle. That's how many walks that Hinkle has in the season. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. We have played an inning and a half. Pierre leads Renner 2-0. You're listening to Post State Baseball, and today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. Bottom of the second inning, it is going to be 4 Renner, 7, 8, 9 as well. Caden Hackman, Aspendall, and Sam Stukel will look for a much better second inning in terms of not allowing 3 walks. He did strike out all 3 guys for all 3 outs as the first pitch is upstairs for ball 1 to Hackman. But you gotta have a little bit a cleaner inning in terms of less walks. And it's not started out as well. As count is 2-0. Here to Hackman, who went 1 for 3 with a double yesterday. Got his first hit of the postseason, did Hackman yesterday against Post 22. That one's fouled back at a play behind the press box, and it's now 2-1. Here for the leadoff hitter and a runner, the number 7 guy in the lineup, Caden Hackman.
And you wonder if maybe Garrett Stout's just not trying to do just a little too much and trying to, maybe the adrenaline's pumping a little bit, realizing this might be the last time that he puts on that Post-State jersey. And again, when you get into that kind of situation where the adrenaline's flowing, sometimes you just got to get a little tired and let your mechanics take over.
3-1 pitch misses, and it's the 4th walk issue to the ball game from Garrett Stout, as he has walked the leadoff hitter in each of the first 2 innings. And again, you don't want to dance with danger too much. You don't want to play with too much fire. And you hope that, as you said, Gray, that maybe Stout will wear down a little bit and the mechanics will take over. There's a bunt, one-handed bunt from the first base, or from the right fielder Aspendall, flip from the first baseman Gordon to Coverdale. Will move the runner over to second. And there is the first out on the sac bunt. Dahl he stuck the bat out, and then he realized it was a lot farther out, and he just had one hand on the bat and was able to bunt the ball. It was a good bunt. I'm not going to say it wasn't a bad bunt, but uncharacteristic bunt, or unusual bunt from anybody, but instead from Aspendall. Here's the first pitch to the number 9 hitter, and Sam Stukel outside for ball 1.
Yeah, and like we said, Stout's been missing with the fastball on the outside part of the plate, and Dahl just kind of like you said, stuck it out almost like a backhand in tennis.
And the 1-0 pitch, trying to bunt the ball again, and it's now 1-1. Maybe they're trying to get that. Obviously, that one was trying to be a base hit for a bunt, but when Stout has been struggling, you don't want to really have too many of you want to have a more productive out than a sacrifice bunt trying to give yourself up. Here's the 1-1 pitch. There's a line drive. That one's foul on the first base side, and it's now 1-2.
Stukel's one of the better hitters on the team. At least he is in the offseason right now for the Renner Royals. I think he's coming in hitting over 400, correct, John?
Yeah, 454 so far here in the postseason. 4 for 11 with the home run as well. 3 runs driven in. In those 5 games. He did not play last night.
Stukel, I believe he's another Sioux Falls O'Gorman product. Both football and basketball player, if I remember right.
The quick conference from Hinkle and Stouts. And everybody will reset. Umpire got a couple new baseballs as well. And here comes the 1-2 from Stout to the number 9 hitter and Stukel. Instead, Stout will step off and reset. With 1 down here in the bottom of the second. Brandon Valley Post 22 will play after this one. The loser of that game will play the winner of this one. There's a fly ball out to center field. Matt Lusk will have to go back. Still going back. Reaches up. Can't make the catch. He'll two up off the wall. The throw will come in. The throw towards the plate is going to be high and sliding in is going to be Hackman. And it's a one-out RBI double from Sam Stuckel. And the lead has been cut in half on the first of the ball game from the Renner Royals. And Stuckel continues to swing a hot bat for Renner.
Yeah, and leadoff walks and two-out walks tend to come back and haunt you, and that's exactly what happened right there. That leadoff walk just came back to bite post 8, and hopefully, and now with Stuckel standing on second base, they've got a runner in scoring position with just one out.
Pitch will get to the backstop, and over to third base will be the center fielder and Stuckel. And a base hit now, or even a ground ball, could give Renner or tie the ball game up for Renner. And we'll see if the entire infield comes in or not. The corners are going to be in. Andy Gordon, the first baseman, even A.J. Gayton, they're pretty much in their same spot they usually play anyway. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. And it's 1-1. Riddle walked and was stranded at third base in the bottom of the first inning. Now the infield will come in all the way around as Keenels and Coverdale will play on the infield grass. Here's the 1-1. That one is inside, and it's now 2-1, just a bit inside.
Yeah, and I think that to play the infield in the bottom of the second inning, even though you're up 2-1, I think that just shows how Coach White believes this is going to be a game that's going to be decided by just a couple of runs and a very low-scoring ball game.
Count is now 3-1 here to Riddle. And if he does walk, you'll see the middle go back to play in double play depth with one down in the inning. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Misses inside, and it's another walk. Fifth walk issued by Riddle, or excuse me, by Stout. Second walk issued to Riddle. And that'll bring up Brock Schaefbauer, who was one of the 3 strikeout victims in the first inning. Schaefbauer, he's 2 for 5 so far here in the postseason after striking out in the bottom of the first. This is danger territory for Post State, trying to dance around danger again. A safety squeeze is on. First pitch is over for strike 1. As Schaefbauer was showing bunt, pulled it back thinking it was going to be taken for ball 1. Instead, it is going to be strike 1. Leading away from first is Riddle. Over at third is Stuckel. He represents the tying run. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, and it's now 0-2. And we'll see where, and with how Stout is thrown so far, you don't really want to waste any pitches. Go right after him. Don't try and waste a pitch here. I'm trying to get him a chase. 0-2, just a bit outside, and it's now 1-2. That was a good pitch to throw at 0-2. Could have got Schaefbauer to chase and was close enough. That could have been called strike 3. Here's the 1-2 from Stout to Schaefbauer. There's a ground ball off of Schaefbauer, and we'll do it again. And a 1-2 count.
That was pitch number 50 on the day for Garrett Stout, and he's not even through the second inning yet. And so again, we've talked about the depth of the Post 8 bullpen, and inevitably that's going to come into play again today.
Now the count is at 2-2. I believe Jack Van Camp will be the first guy in relief, or maybe Matt Lusk will go in relief and try and save Jack Van Camp to throw third in this game or start in the next game. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Runner is off. That one's outside, and it's now 3-2. And now the infield's going to have to come back in again. And Stout's in danger of walking his 6th man of the game. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Upstairs, another walk. 6 down the game from Stout. Bases are loaded for the second straight inning. And Coach White will make his way out.
It looks like we've got to move.
And Jack Van Camp's going to come in the ballgame. So Stout threw around 52 pitches. But however, that means that he could come back in game number 2 if Post State is able to advance and play later on tonight. A.J. Gayden will go out to right field. Stout will move to short. Keenels will move to and we'll be back with Jack Van Camp on the mound after this minute break. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Jack Van Camp is on in a tough spot with one down here in the bottom of the second. The bases are loaded, and he's dealing with the most dangerous hitter on Renner and Will Waschenberger. But he gets a swing and a miss for strike one. Back in the middle, corners are in. The 0-1 is outside, and it's now 1-1. And Van Camp has got to get out of this inning and keep Post State at least tied up or not, if not in the lead, as they lead 2-1 right now. Here's the 1-1 to Waschenberger. Grounded foul behind home plate, and it's now 1-2. And you're hoping Van Camp can really power through this order and at least save him some pitches, maybe for in the second game as well later on tonight. From the windup, here is a 1-2 pitch from Van Camp to Waschenberger. That was a curveball. He gets in the dirt, and a good block there from Hinkle, and it's now 2-2.
Yeah, for Jack Van Camp, this is his 12th appearance of the year. First time out of the bullpen, 47 in the third innings. He's 4-5 on the year.
2-2 is inside, and then now is 3-2. Waschenberger. And this
69 strikeouts and 47 innings for Van Camp, 3.85 ERA.
Here is one of the biggest pitches in the ball game. 3-2 payoff pitch to Waschenberger. Ground ball. It's going to be fair. Keenels will throw home. Gets one. The first for the double play. They did not get the double play. They call him safe over at first, and Coach White is very upset. He was hoping that the second base umpire was going to be a little bit closer over to the bag at first base. And Coach White will go out and talk with the field umpire. They do get the force out at home and keeps the game at 2-1. And I've never seen Coach White as hot as what he was coming out of the dugout after they didn't get the double play turned to get out of the inning. And so they are gonna appeal it, or at least talk to the home plate umpire. Where the home plate umpire is, I don't know if this call is going to get changed. But for Coach White, at least they're going to talk about it, and that's kind of what you want to see is get the umpires together and talk about it. And this is where a three-man crew would come in handy. This is, it's not talking about the umpires themselves right now, but I'm just surprised we don't have a three-man crew. In a state tournament, there is no three-man crew. And it will be a safe call, and the bases will remain loaded.
Yeah, and this is just seems odd to me. I mean, every state tournament that I've watched and in person has always had at least a 3, if not a 4-man crew working the base paths, and so to get by with a 2-man crew just seems out of character. Of course, everything else is odd in 20.
That is true. First pitch to Dalton Garbers. It's over for strike one, so there's 2 down. Bases are loaded. Here's Dalton Garbers, who walked in his first trip to the plate, the number 4 hitter in the order. 0-1 pitch. High chopper over the head, off the glove of Keenels, and the game is going to be tied at 2-2, as it's going to be a infield hit. And the game is tied here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, even if Keenholz comes down with that, it was going to be a tough play, because I'm not sure he would have had a play at third base, and he would have had a long throw across the diamond to try to get Garbers at first. So even if he comes down with that, I'm not sure that Post State might be able to record an out.
First pitch, a check swing, and did not go. Schlimgin, he struck out swinging in his first at-bats, and they will appeal now to the field umpire, and it is 1-0. Didn't think that he went, but again, with only 2 umpires, that umpire is not going to be in a spot over there to make that call. 1-0 is going to catch the strikes over the knees, and it's now 1-1. 2-2 is our score here in the bottom of the second. 2 runs on 2 hits so far for Renner here in this inning, as it's now a 2-1 count to Schlimgin. Van Camp working from the windup still with the bases loaded. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one is over for strike 2, and the count is now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Van Camp a strike away from getting out of this inning. Here's the 2-2 from Van Camp to Schlimgin. Did not get the swing, and they did not get it, and it's now a full count, 3-2.
And Jack Van Camp was almost all the way to the first baseline. He thought that was strike 3, either on the call or on the appeal. And Keenholz was walking off. Coverdale was walking off. Van Camp had a lot of people agreeing with him.
Count is full. All three runners will get a head start. The 3-2 pitch. Curveball misses for ball 4, and another run will come in. And it's now a 3-2 lead here for Renner. And another walk issued in the ball game from Post State. Their 4th walk of the inning. As they have a courtesy runner, Schlimgen will head back to the dugout. Mason Runyo is going to step to the plate. The 9th man to come to the plates here in this 2nd inning. With 2 outs, bases remain loaded again. First pitch is over for strike 1, the inside edge. Runyo struck out swinging in his first at bat. He ended that first inning with the bases loaded. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss, and it's now 0-2. I think after this inning, this is going to be a good time for Coach White, Coach Nas, Coach Zabel to kind of rally the troops and try and settle everybody down. Coach White wasn't happy that wasn't a double play. Everybody thought that it was strike 3 to Schlimgen. Chance to kind of settle everybody down once you get out of this inning. 0-2 is outside, and it's now 1-2.
Runyon, the only super senior on the Renner team. 16 players on the roster. They've got 7 seniors and 6 seniors, 1 super senior to go with 9 juniors.
1-2 pitch is he fouled back. It remains at 1-2.
Excuse me. 8 rising seniors and 1 rising junior. Austin Henry, who like we talked about, I think earlier, probably the number 2 pitcher on this Renner staff, actually is in a college showcase tournament down in Atlanta this weekend, showcasing his talents. Henry being a Wichita State commit.
Count is 2-2. 2 down here in the bottom of the 2nd. 2-2 pitch. There's a ground ball. Van Camp will glove. He will throw to first, and that will retire the side. And Coach Nas is pointing straight in front of the dugout to rally the troops here. After that inning goes for Renner. 3-run score in the inning. On no errors by Post State, and 3 men left on base. After 2, Renner has taken a 3-2 lead over Pierre. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As it is the top of the 3rd inning, and Pierre trails 3-2 to Renner, as it will be the top of the order for Post State. Coach White and the home plate umpire are continuing to have some words. I'm not sure.
I think Coach White must have said something as he was going by the home plate umpire on the way to his third base coaching box, and the home plate umpire just turned around to the press box and said, "Warning on the Pierre coach." So Coach White is on a short leash the rest of this game.
Arbogast delivers the first pitch to Coverdale, who will pop up the first pitch on the right side. It will go into foul territory. Waschenberger will make the catch, and it's 1 pitch and 1 out here to open up the top of the 3rd. They'll bring up River Iverson, who doubled and came around to score on the RBI single from Garrett Stout back at the top of the 1st. And just like it was yesterday, Post State opened up a 2-0 lead, and it didn't last for very long as they're now trailing 3-2. Although they did limit the damage to cut that in half than what it was in Game 1 yesterday when they went down 6-2. First pitch is over for strike 1 to the left fielder, Iverson. Arbogast from the windup. Here is the 0-1 pitch. Iverson will go the other way with to the right field. Over is the right fielder in Dahl. He'll make the catch, and 3 pitches and 2 outs. here for Arbogast in the top of the third inning. And here's Garrett Stout, who has a base hit and an RBI in his lone at bat so far. Number 3 hitter in this ball game, and with Stout coming to the plate, he's got 7 home runs on the season, so he's a threat to tie this ball game up with one swing. First pitch from Arbogast to Stout. He'll foul it away. Got it off the end of the bat over to the third base dugout, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, only 3 lefties in the lineup today for Post 8. Probably about a season low for them. Just Stout, Hinkle, and Van Camp. With Stout pitching, there's no DH, so no McGuire Rasky in the lineup in the hitting lineup today for Post 8.
0-1's a swing and a miss by Stout, and it's now 0-2. And Arbogast is going to throw his 6th pitch of the inning and can get out of the inning. With the 0-2 on its way, Stout will go with a ground ball to the right side. That's through for a base hit and a 2-out single. As Stout is now 2 for 2 here in the ball game. That'll bring up Andy Gordon, who grounded out to the second baseman. Productive out in the top of the first. Gordon with 9 runs driven in so far here in the playoffs. He got an RBI single yesterday. Leads all players here through 5 games. I guess Brandon Valley has 6 games, but leads all players in the state tournament with those 9 RBIs. As that one's fouled back to the screen. It's 0-1. Gordon will return for Post 8 next season. He's the lone man in the first 6 hitters that will be back for Post 8. As the Arbogast will deliver the 0-1 to Gordon. That one will catch the inside edge, and it's now 0-2 here to the first baseman.
8 turnees for Post 8 next year, 7 rising seniors, and Lincoln Keenhol's the rising sophomore. So a good nucleus coming back for Post 8.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Gordon will sky it out to left center field. And the center fielder in Stuckel will come over. He'll make the catch. And that will retire the side here in the top of the third. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. For 2.5, it is a 3-2 Renner lead over Pierre. You're listening to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Caden Hackman will lead things off here in the bottom of the third. He led off the bottom of the second when Post 8 scored those 3 runs. Home plate umpire taking his time to get behind home plate. Van Campen slowly started his motion. Here's the first pitch to Hackman. Outside for ball 1 as it gets to the backstop. Hackman walked, came around to score. He was part of 4 walks in the inning, 7 walks so far in the ball game for Pierre in just 2 innings. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one is over for strike 1 as it hits the outside corner. And it is 1-1 to the second baseman Hackman, Aspendall, and Sam Stuckel will be the next 2 hitters. 1-1 pitch. There's a ground ball over the head of Van Camp, fielded by Stout at short. Throw to first on the run is in time. The leadoff man is retired for the first time in the ball game from Renner. And so bring up Aspendall. The leadoff guy had walked the first 2 innings for Renner, and now here is Aspendall. He is 0 for 0. He had a sac bunt in his first plate appearance. Ended up coming in handy as Stuckel doubled and scored Hackman after the sac bunt. First pitch is on the outside corner for strike 1. Here to the right fielder.
Van Camp, much like Arbogast, working off the far third base side of the rubber.
The 0-1 is off the foot of Dahl, and it popped up for Hinkle to barehand right where he stood up from his crouch. And the count is quickly 0-2. Van Camp working quickly. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one is a check swing, and it is going to be called third strike, actually a swinging strike. And there is the second out of the inning. And again, I think what Dahl turned back around and maybe asked, was that going to be a strike? Or because the way the home plate umpire kind of pointed, like he wasn't really pointing at Dahl that he swung, or he just called it strike three. So you'd maybe asking, did I swing, or was it called strike three? As the first pitch is taken for strike one to Sam Stukel. It was not caught cleanly by Hinkle, and the hesitation from the home plate umpire caused a delay in whether that was going to be 0-1 or 1-0. Here's the 0-1 pitch to the number 9 hitter. There's a swing and a miss, and it's quickly 0-2 from Van Camp to Stukel.
And after Arbogast set the eights down quickly in the top of the third, it'd be nice if Van Camp can do the same thing and return the favor here for post 8.
Just like in the top of the third inning, it's a 2-out single. This one for Stukel to keep the inning alive in the bottom of the third. He's now 2 for 2 with a double and a single, as it went right back up the middle over the top of the head of Van Camp. And it's now who is 0 for 0 with 2 walks. Has not got an official at-bat so far in this ball game.
Like we talked about, Van Camp and Arbogast, left-handers, both working off the far third base side of the pitching rubber. And what that does, especially for a right-hander, they can really start that curveball out over, away into the left-handed batter's box and kind of break it back over the outside corner of the plate. And Van Camp has been very effective using that kind of backdoor curve all year long.
There's a swing and a miss by Riddle with that off-speed pitch, and is now 1-1 here to the left fielder. From the stretch, set and 1-1 pitch. That one is on the outside edge at the letters, and it's now 1-2. And let's see if Van Camp can get out of this inning here with the leadoff man in the order up to the plates with 2 down. 1-2 pitch. There's a little blooper into left center field. That's down for a base hit. Iverson will field, and it's going to be another single. First and second with 2 down. And Riddle didn't do too much, just hit it where the pitch was thrown, and it's now first and second here with 2 down. And here's Brock Schiefbauer, who is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Walked and came around to score as well in the second inning. So Van Camp was a strike away from getting out of this third inning 2 batters ago, and he's going to back-to-back singles. There's another first pitch strike to Schiefbauer. And a base hit could extend the lead and double the lead for Renner. They lead 3-2 right now here in the bottom of the third. 0-1 on the outside or inside corner is now 0-2.
Nice changeup from Van Camp. Just after he painted the outside corner with a fastball on strike 1, came back with a changeup on the inside corner for strike 2, and now the whole arsenal is opened up for Van Camp on this third pitch.
0-2 pitch is a ground ball to the left side. Be fielded by Stout. Long throw to first is high on the bag. Gordon up to throw it home. They call him safe, and another run's going to come around to score. And now they call him out over at first. They said he was safe over at first, and then they call him out. So Post 8 gets out of the inning, and we're not going to go to commercial break right now because the base umpire first called him safe, changed his mind, and called him out. Well, would allow a runner to score over at home. A run getting over to third base. It'll be first and third here with 2 down and a 4-2 lead for Renner. Turns out to end the inning. And I don't think there's going to be any kind of appeal because both teams have left the field except for Schiefbauer, who's over at first base. And now here's the case is you can't let that run score. The bases have to be loaded because although he was halfway to home, you can't assume he was going to score because Gordon never threw the ball home because the umpire said he was out. And so the play would have to end when he got to first base, which would make it the bases loaded and 2 outs. Oh, now they're calling him safe, and Coach White might not be able to stay in this ball game. I don't know if Coach White's going to be able to stay in this ball game. He's probably going to get tossed because that is unbelievable that now they're going to change the call over here, and Coach White is probably going to be, and they can't let the run score. That I think you would agree with that.
Absolutely, you're spot on, John.
They can't let the run score because the play was over when the run was trying to score. So he's got to go back to third. The runner has got to go back to second. And the base has got to be loaded. Coach White is still arguing with both umpires, and he is going to be ejected.
Oh, he just got ejected. Yep.
He got ejected from the ball game, and this is why 3 umpires in a state tournament has got to be had. You can't. This is 2 plays now that Coach White has gone in favor of Renner away from Pierre with just 2 umpires in a state tournament. This has got to have a 3 umpiring crew. I just don't understand why there are not 2 umpires or only 2 umpires here for at least these first 2 days.
Coach White is unloading on the home plate umpire, who he already had words with, and who had already put him on a warning in the last half inning. You know, the field umpire had walked away about 2 minutes ago, and Coach White getting his money's worth.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, now for the rest of the game, Post State will have to play with Coach Nas as the head coach, and now that forces Peyton Zabel, the director of pitching development for Post State, into that first base coaching role.
And so now they still have first and third, but they can't. This is not a first and third situation. The bases have to be loaded because the play was over. The play was over, and they're going to allow a run to score without even the play finishing out. So this is a really tough situation too, because if they get this guy out here at home, or if they get Washingberger out here, Renner stole a run. They just stole a run from Post State, and they're going to allow first and third to happen. This is, I don't believe, the right call at all. Here's the first pitch from Van Camp over to Washingberger, and that is taken for strike 1. So Renner steals a run from Pierre, and they lead 4-2 on the RBI infield single, I guess you're going to call. And so now Peyton Zabel is going to come talk to the home plate umpire. So Coach Nas is also going to talk, and I think that they're going to be. They have the case, and that's got to be the case. The bases have got to be loaded. This cannot be first and third with 2 outs. I don't care if he was halfway to third or not. They called him out. Gordon didn't have to throw the ball home, so there was no play. And the Renner coach is coming down and talking. Now the home plate umpire is telling him to have to go back to third base to talk about it. And so I believe we are going to have everybody go back now after we've thrown that first strike. So this has got.
That was a great call, John. I would not have thought of that, but you're spot on your interpretation right here, because you cannot assume that runner from third would have scored after the out call. So you're dead on right. I mean, this should be a bases loaded situation, and now. Tyler Olmstead, the Renner coach, is trying to plead his case that the run should count, and he's getting his money's worth, and not in a vocal way, but just really trying to interpret. Now he's going to walk away frustrated, and we'll see what ends up here. But you can see he's very frustrated, and again, unfortunately, like you said, John, this is just a situation where this game has just totally gotten out of hand, unfortunately, because you had 2 umpires that were just not in position to make the calls. Where if you would have had a third umpire or a 4th umpire, you probably would not have seen any of this emotion get to the level where it is now.
Yeah, and so now both coaches. Coach White has obviously been ejected, but Olmstead is not happy with these umpires either. The bases are going to be loaded with 2 outs and an 0-1 count, so they are going to get it right. You can't blame Olmstead for arguing with the umpire or at least discussing with the umpire, because why wouldn't you want the run? I mean, you're going to complain that you had the run on the scoreboard and now it's going to be taken off even after a pitch is thrown. But so now it's 2 outs, bases are loaded.
And Olmstead is still pleading his case, and if he's not, I think he just got thrown.
And so this is really, maybe he didn't get thrown. Maybe he just got a warning here. So the count.
This has really gotten out of hand, John. It's totally unfortunate.
Here's the 0-1 pitch from Van Camp to Washingberger. That one will miss outside, and the count is now 1-1. So the bases are now loaded with 2 down in the inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Washingberger swings and misses, and it's now a 1-2 count. And boy, this has been. So I guess Olmstead got from the home plate umpire, but here's the 1-2 pitch with 2 outs. Foul back, and we'll do it again at 1-2. Yeah, this game has gotten out of hand real quick here from the second and third inning. We play here in the bottom of the third. 1-2 count, 3-2 is our score. Here's the 1-2 pitch with 2 outs. Swing and a miss by Waschenberger. And Post State will get out of the inning without a run scoring. And that is a big strikeout from Jack Van Camp, and a great job by Peyton Zabel and Coach Nas to make sure that they got that call right and to get that run off the board, because there are no runs that score on 3 hits in the inning, no errors, and 3 men left on base. We head to the top of the fourth. Renner leads a very intense game over Pierre 3-2. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Olmsted is still talking with a home plate umpire here after the inning. He still wants that fourth run to come in to score, but he's not going to win that argument. And Olmsted's got to be careful, too, because he can't I guess he could get ejected, but he doesn't want to get ejected. It is going to be Matt Lusk, the 5, 6, and 7 portion of the order here. Matt Lusk, Jack Van Camp, and Lincoln K. Knowles. Coach Nas over at third. Coach Zabel over at first after Coach White was ejected. And again, there are times, and Coach White's been ejected twice now in the last 2 years. First pitch is upstairs to Matt Lusk for ball 1. And in those 2 games, there is 0% of me that says that he shouldn't have gotten ejected. I believe in both these cases in the last 2 years, he has every right to be upset. And I don't fault him for being ejected in those last 2 games, especially here today. Count is 2-0 to Matt Lusk.
Well, and you could tell after he was already on a warning, and the call was originally safe and then out and then safe over at first base. You could tell that as the way his demeanor and his body language was when he came out of the dugout, there was no way that he was going to last more than about 30 seconds, and that's about exactly how long he lasted in that conversation with the umpire.
4-pitch walk to Matt Lusk to lead off the top of the 4th inning, and that'll bring up Jack Van Camp, the pitcher, now here in the ball game. You are listening to KCCR Pierre Riverfront Broadcasting Station as we are past the 3 o'clock hour local time, 4 o'clock central time, and if you're just now joining us, a lot through the first 3 innings. It's a 3-2 lead for Renner. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1. 2-0 was the score after the top of the first off of an RBI single from Stouting Matt Lusk, who is on first base right now. 3 runs scored for Renner in the bottom of the second. Post State has allowed 7 walks so far in the ball game, but they trail by just 1. Pickoff attempt. Throw to first is called safe as Waschenberger. Lusk was just about picked off over there at first base.
And last time Lusk was on first base, he stole second going on first motion, and he hesitated and started to make a move towards second on Arbogast's first motion. That time he's lucky he got back.
1-0 pitch. That was right down the middle. Is now 1-1 here to Jack Van Camp. Van Camp struck out swinging in his first at-bat to end the top of the first inning.
And right now, John, the thing that the team that will probably end up winning this game is the team that can just channel their emotion right now and not let their emotions get away with them right now, and just kind of try to stay as calm as possible and just go back to playing the ball game and not get too high or too out of sorts on this thing. And Arbogast had been cruising, but right now, 4-pitch walk to Lusk, and he's kind of regathered himself in this at bat to Jack Van Camp a little bit, although he's now gone to 2-2.
And that pitch was in the dirt, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. On deck is Lincoln Keenos, will be followed by A.J. Gaden. here in the top of the fourth inning. Nobody out, runner on first. 2-2 pitch from Arbogast to Van Camp. He'll foul it out of play, and it will remain at 2-2. This is a game that, as you said, the team that can channel their emotions, keep them in check the most is going to win this ball game, because now both teams have had calls that they have both not liked, and a lot of emotion has been shown on the field, and in terms of towards the umpires instead of towards the game itself. And as the pickoff attempt and back in safely as Matt Lusk. And you can't fault a lot of these kids too, because as we've talked about, there's a lot of careers on the line here. Another pickoff attempt and back in safely again. Arbogast was a little bit hesitating on that throw over to first base. I'm not sure, can't see from where he's at if he's a little bit closer to going home instead of to first base. Here's the 2-2 pitch again, slide step, and that one will miss low, and count is full now at 3-2. With a left-hander and the move that Arbogast has, I won't be surprised if Matt Lusk doesn't go, but you could see maybe potentially him go here with a 3-2 count and nobody out. Here's the payoff pitch. Van Camp will take it for ball 4. Matt Lusk was not stealing, and it's back-to-back walks here to open up the top of the fourth. And that'll bring in Lincoln Keenels, the now third baseman. Nobody out here in the top of the fourth, first and second. And the rising sophomore has a big chance here, a big opportunity to tie the ball game up with a base hit.
Yeah, and the other thing that, and I'm going to go back to the 3-4-man crew question again. The other thing with especially Arbogast on the mound and the pickoff moves that he made towards first base is you really need an umpire at first base to see if that leg breaks the plane and comes past that first base plane or not. Because if it does, then that's a balk. He's got to go to first base unless he if he comes home. So again, just another situation where a 3 or 4-man crew would come in handy.
Lincoln Keenels was showing bunt on the 0-1 pitch. He pulled it back, but it was called strike 2 at the knees. So now the count is at 0-2. As Waschenberger will go now play behind Jack Van Camp over at first base. Here's the 0-2 from Arbogast to Keenels. There's a ground ball to the right side, fielded by Waschenberger. Doesn't feel it cleanly. Can't find the ball. The throw to first is not in time, and it's an error by Waschenberger. And the bases are now loaded here with nobody out. Second error of the game from Renner.
Yeah, just a kind of a round ball that Waschenberger should have fielded. I mean, first, I think he took his eye off the ball a little bit because he was probably looking to try to start a double play, a 3-6-3 kind of double play, and then ball scooped out of his glove. Kind of was just laying at his feet. He couldn't find it right away, and he kind of did a full 360. And by the time he found it, and by the time Arbogast got over to first base, the speedy Keenholz was step by first base.
First pitch to A.J. Gaines, swing and a miss for strike 1, and a good play there a good job by Keenholz to get up and down the line quickly. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's fouled back, and it's quickly 0-2. Cade Hinkle is on deck. Then it'll go back to the top of the order for Andrew Coverdale here with nobody out in the top of the fourth. This is the time. This could be one of the last chances. I shouldn't say last chances, but your best chance here, and can't expect another really good chance like you have right now the rest of the ball game, especially against Reese Arbogast. Here's the 0-2 pitch with the bases loaded and nobody out. Inside and taken for ball 1. And the Renner fans were hoping for strike 3 call, and instead Gaden will at least get one more pitch to work with.
Yeah, that pitch didn't miss by much, and the way the home plate umpire moved, you kind of wondered if maybe he wasn't thinking about it for a second.
1-2 pitch outside, and the count is even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 walk so far issued by Reese Arbogast. That was a leadoff walk to Matt Lusk here in the inning. There's a walk, two walks to Van Camp and Lusk, and an error has loaded the bases. 2-2 is outside, 3-2, and now another ball would walk in the tying run.
Yeah, and this is a place where A.J. Gaden really just needs to choke up a little bit and just shorten the swing up a little bit, put something in play.
3-2 pitch. Gaden will ground the ball to the left side. It'll be fielded by the shortstop. Throw to second for 1. Back to first is not in time. It's a RBI fielder's choice for A.J. Gaden, and the game is tied at 3. And now the second baseman is trying to plead his case that Lincoln Keenels was disrupting the throw over to second, saying that Keenels was throwing his arms down, or throwing his arms at the second baseman in Hackman. But nobody will win any kind of an appeal, and or any kind of appeal made, and the game is tied at 3 with 1 down.
And the sad part of this whole deal is that again, you put these umpires in tough situations in a 2-man crew in a highly competitive game, and unfortunately the thing that these players and these coaches and these fans are going to think about after this game is over is not the play on the field. It's about the controversy that happened during the play on the field, and so that's the unfortunate part.
As the first pitch was line foul down the first base line, and it's 0-1 here to Cade Hinkle. Tie game at 3-3 with 1 down to the top of the 4th. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Hinkle will foul that one out of play behind the press box on the left side, and it's now 0-2. Andrew Coverdale is on deck, barring a double play of any sorts, with the potential of a chance to give Post State the lead back. They led 2-0. Trailed 3-2. Game is tied 3-3. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Here's a chopper foul the first base side, and we'll do it again at 0-2.
The one thing I've noticed about Arbogast is that he's, even though he's not a very big kid, he's about, like I said, he's about 5'9", maybe 150, but he's got a really kind of a violent delivery. I mean, his head and arms are going all over the place. As he's coming through, even with that slide step, I mean, that head really jerks around, and he gets everything he can out of that frame.
Count remains at 0-2 as Hinkle fouled that one to the first base dugout where Pierre is at. And we'll do it again at 0-2. From the stretch, Arbogast delivers the 0-2. Hinkle will look at strike 3, and there's the second out. And that'll bring up now Andrew Coverdale as Hinkle is down on strike for the second time here in the ballgame. 4 strikeouts here for Reese Arbogast through 3 2/3. And it is up to Coverdale to try and score more than 1 here. Had the bases loaded with nobody out, had a fielder's choice to drive in the first run, a strikeout from Hinkle. And now here's Coverdale with 2 down, 1st and 3rd. First pitch is over for strike 1 to Coverdale. He flew out to the right fielder and popped out to the first baseman in his first 2 at-bats. This is one of the biggest at-bats of the ball game here with a 3-3 tie.
In a situation where maybe do you put Gaden in a box steal to try to get that 4th run home? I mean, you don't want to take the bat out of Coverdale's hands either.
Chopper to the right side is going to be a tough play for the second baseman. Hackman, throw to first, is not in time. Actually get away from the first baseman. The run's going to come in to score. It's now 4-3, and it's going to be a lead here for Post State. And they're on the second baseman and Hackman. I'm not sure. He might have been able to get – it looked like he was going to be thrown out at first, but it be an error charge to Hackman, and the run comes in to score. And it is now 1st and 3rd, still 1st and 3rd. Here with 2 outs and a 4-3 lead. River Iverson is up to the plate.
Iverson's hit the ball hard in his first 2 appearances at the plate today. This would be a great place for him to deliver one more line drive.
First pitch to Iverson, he'll foul it back, and it's 0-1. And Iverson has, as you said, he swung the bat well here going into the state tournament now as we've played a game and a half. Yeah, he's swung the bat well all season, but noticeably more here in this state tournament. 0-1, and of course he swings and misses that pitch in the dirt, and it's now 0-2. The announcer's curse takes over. Usually just for free throws, but apparently sometimes rolls into baseball as well.
Let's turn around. River Iverson's been really bad so far.
Well, let's say that. The runner's got to take off for second, and stealing second is Coverdale, and he'll take that bag. And watched him go 3/4 of the way, almost all the way, 90% of the way to second before he stepped off, but just let Coverdale take second base. So now with the runners at second and third, Iverson can drive in 2 runs with a base hit. Here is the 0-2 pitch from Arbogast to Iverson. Upstairs, and it's now 1-2.
Yeah, we say that in jest that Iverson's been really bad, but like you said, we're just trying to break the sportscaster curse and try to will a hit out of River Iverson here in this big at bat.
1-2 pitch. That one is still upstairs, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. With 2 outs here at the top of the 4th.
And Arbogast, who had been cruising, is now up over the 70 pitch mark, and he's not out of the 4th inning yet.
2-2. So Iverson swings and misses and goes down on strikes and will retire the side. 2 runs do come in to score. on no hits in the inning. There were 2 errors and 2 men left on base. We have played now 3.5, and Post State has reclaimed the lead over Renner. They lead 4-3. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to the Pete Lean Field in the bottom of the 4th, and it will be a new man over at third base because Coach Olmstead for Renner has been ejected now. So both head coaches have been ejected in this ball game as the first pitch is outside for ball 1. You want some drama? We got some drama here at Pete Lean Field. I mean, we've gone all year. We've had one ejection in a post-state game. It was the post-320 coach that got ejected as the one is over for strike 1, and it's now 1-1. And we've seen 2 here in this ball game. Both the head coaches have been tossed. Dalton Garbers, he is 1 for 1 with an RBI single, and it's now 1-2 as he swings and misses that one.
So, tongue-in-cheek, you kind of wonder if Coach White and Coach Olmstead aren't going to be listening to the broadcast out in the parking lot together. And
and have a comment. You can pick it out over in the parking lot at Pete Lean. Here's the 2-2. That one will bounce in, blocked by Hinkle, and the count is full at 3-2. And maybe Coach White is already having us tuned in right now. We'll listen to the ball game. Count is full. Here's the payoff pitch to Dalton Garbers. Inside and a leadoff walk. 3rd inning out of 4. The leadoff man has been issued a walk for Renner. And the tying run has gotten right back on base. Here's Tegan Schlimgen, who is 0 for 1. He struck out and had a walk that drove him in, or a RBI walk in the 2nd inning. 3 runs were scored in the 2nd inning. A 4th one came in to score in the bottom of the 3rd, but then had to go back to third base because of the controversy that was had. The first pitch will come inside, misses the bunt, and it will be to second base easily, will be to Garbers. And Jack Van Camp was thinking that maybe that was a foul ball, but it was not, as Schlimgen was able to pull the bunt back in time. So now with the runner on second, the bunt will probably be taken off and allow Schlimgen to try and get a base hit to try and drive in the tying run. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one will miss low, and it's now 2-0.
And again, and I'll come to the umpire's defense for a little bit. I mean, you know, these guys out here, even though we've talked about them only being a 2-man crew, I mean, they are not professional umpires. They're doing this as a sideline, as a hobby, probably to give back to the game, probably as a love of the game. And I just feel bad that they got put in this situation. Like I said, and I don't know, you know, what the circumstances was, what the decision was to go with 2-man crews, but that's the unfortunate part. So I give the umpires a little bit of deference in this situation just because of that.
Count is now 2-2 as Schlimgen tried to bunt the ball and end up going foul. And it is a ball and 2 balls and 2 strikes. As well,
Coach White and Coach Olmstead are standing together on the bleachers outside the fence, high enough where they can actually see the game.
So that they will hang out for the next 2.5, 3 innings of this ball game. Here's the 2-2 pitch. There's a line shot right in the keynoles. The throw back to second is not in time. They didn't get the double play. Oh, boy, that looked like it was pretty good, but there's one down.
And if every post thought that they had gotten the double play, Coach Nathan Nas was about 3 steps out of the dugout, and I think out of discretion, he caught himself and turned around and went back because you just don't know what kind of mood you're going to find the umpires in if he goes out and questions the call at this point. I was kind of screened from the play. The field umpire was actually in my way. I couldn't really see exactly how close that play was.
Renner will foul the first pitch off to the right side. It will one hop off that fence, and it's 0-1 here to Mason Renner. And as I look to the right and see Coach White and Coach Olmsted, they're discussing that play where that fourth run would have scored for Renner, and where Coach White got ejected and where Coach Olmsted got his warning on the exact same play. Came a little bit later after Coach White was ejected. Time was called as there is no pitch. I don't know if maybe Hinkle called time or what was called time, but you don't usually see a swing happen after time was called, and Van Camp's kind of wondering, who called time? What happened here? And that was a perfect ground ball for Stout to field to get the second out of the inning. So it still remains at 0-1. This game's got it all. This is
and
as that one's outside now, 1-1.
Garbers is on second base, and he just kind of motioned over to Stout, and he pointed over at Coach Olmsted and Coach White standing in the bleachers, and I think he just realized that they're standing together critiquing the game.
One will get inside, get away from Hinkle, and over to third base now will be Garbers. And the tying run is 90 feet away on the second wild pitch of the inning from Jack Van Camp, and the count is at 2-1. So, yeah, both coaches, they will be back in. And you actually look at Zabel now over here. He was looking up to White in the bleachers, standing out of the field to see if he wanted the infield to come in or not. 2-1 is fouled back, and it's 2-2. So, and I would assume that we'll probably see Renner coaches kind of looking up to Olmsted and trying and signaling to him and asking them questions as well. So both coaches, they're out of the game, but you can still make some contact with them. 2-2. Outside edge. Looked out for strike 3. And there's another strikeout from Jack Van Camp. And that will bring up now Caden Hackman, who is 0 for 1 in the ball game. There's 2 down with a runner on third.
Yeah, and there's that backdoor curveball that we talked about that Van Camp likes to throw, and so does Arbogast, and the umpire gave him that outside corner on that strike 3 call.
Count is 0-1 here to Caden Hackman as that pitch hit the run around the knees. The 0-1 pitch from Van Camp is right down the middle again. It is now 0-2 here to Caden Hackman. And Jack Van Camp trying to get out of this inning with a 0 to preserve that 1-run lead here for Post State through 4 innings. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Hackman. Swing and a miss, and Van Camp will strike out the final 2 hitters. And that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. We head to the 5th inning. Pierre has a 4-3 lead over Renner. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Four to 3 is our score here as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Reese Arbogast still out on the mound. He will deal with 3, 4, and 5. Stout, Gordon, and Lusk. Post State has got that lead back. Their first runs that they've scored from the 3rd inning here in the state tournaments. And again, both Coach Brian White, Coach Olmsted for Renner, they are enjoying each other's company out in the parking lot right now with the bleachers that they're able to stand on to watch this ball game. And we're kind of watching maybe a little bit of some rain that might come through too. So not only are we watching the coaches enjoy, I don't know if they're really enjoying being out there right now, but able to talk to each other. for the rest of the ball game, as the first pitch to Garrett Stout is upstairs for ball one. We also got to be weary of any kind of rain that might come through. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Stout. There's a check swing. That's a ground ball to the right side. Hackman will bobble, and Stout will reach to lead off the inning. He probably would like to redo that swing, but after he reaches base, he'll take that swing or half swing.
Yeah, just a check swing that was headed right up the middle, and Garrett Stout's a strong young man, and the ball was actually, even though it was a check swing, was headed out to center field. Hackman went a long ways to his right to try to get the ball, and knew he was going to have to make a quick throw, and just bobbled the ball when it came up, and by the time he corralled it, was not going to have a play at first base to get Garrett Stout. First
pitch to Andy Gordon is fouled away, and a young man who was throwing a football around, he got a little nervous of that ball coming towards him. I thought he wasn't going to be able to get out of the way in time. Pickoff attempt, and back in safely over at first is Stout. And again, Arbogast, Greg has said that he's got a little bit of a violent release to his pitching, and he's got a little bit of a hitch in his windup as well as it goes up and down. The 0-1 is a ground ball to the left side for Gordon, and a base hits. And it's first and second with nobody out. Andy Gordon now 1 for 3. And they'll bring in Matt Lusk, who already has a RBI single in this ball game.
Yeah, just a ball that Andy Gordon just really went down to get. I mean, it was a ball that was really down in the zone, and Gordon didn't really golf it. He just went down and got it and drove it hard through the hole on the left side, and the Eights got something going here with runners on first and second and nobody out here in the top of the fifth.
From the stretch, Arbogast will deliver the first pitch to Matt Lusk. Lusk will foul the first pitch out and go out of play. And it is 0-1 to Lusk, who has reached base both times. He singled and drove in a run, and he has also walked and came around to score. He tied the ball game up on the RBI fielder's choice from A.J. Gaden. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one will miss low, and it's now 1-1 to Matt Lusk. Jack Van Camp has thrown 59 pitches in his 2 2/3 innings. And I would assume that he will try and see if they can't get him through this ball game, as he's looked good, and would be great to see him finish this ball game and keep Matt Lusk available without having any pitches thrown in this game. That one's popped up, going into shallow right field. An infield fly rule is called, and the second baseman Hackman will make the catch, and there's one down.
Yeah, and that's a great interpretation, John. The fact that even though the ball was on the outfield grass, under the rule, the umpire can still call an infield fly rule, even though if it's determined to be an easily catchable ball. I don't know the exact wordage of the rule, but that was a play where Hackman was about 3 field grass. If he decides to do it, he could drop the ball on purpose. And if he does that, you probably end up with at least a double play, maybe even a triple play, depending upon whether the batter comes out of the box or not.
Yeah, and the routine of that play was there for the second baseman Hackman, as Van Camp skies the first pitch foul out of play, and the 0-1 pitch to Van Camp is over for strike 2. And it's quickly an 0-2 count here to the pitcher, Jack Van Camp. It was 0 for 1. He walked, came around to score. That gave Post State the lead off the error from Hackman. Now here's the 0-2 from Arbogast to Van Camp. That one will be in the dirt, and a good block there from Schlimgen, and it's 1-2 now.
Yeah, Schlimgen's done a nice job. He's made a number of nice blocks and kept everything in front of him today. Hasn't allowed anything to get to the backstop.
Here is the 1-2 from Arbogast to Van Camp. Popped up on the left side. It's going to get into foul territory, so there is no infield fly. The third baseman will by the fence, will make the catch. And a great play by Schaefbauer. You can maybe hear somebody, probably the coaching staff, saying he got room, and he just didn't have a whole lot of room, but he had enough room to make the catch without having to reach over that fencing there that is about maybe 4 feet high.
Yeah, just caught the ball just about a step inside the fence, and so now the Eights had the first 2 runners on. A couple of pop outs later, and now the weight is going to fall on Lincoln Keenholz's shoulders to try to drive in a little bit of insurance here.
He reached on air. The ball will get away from the pitcher. The throw over to third. They're going to get Stout out at third base and end the inning. And he took off after the ball was thrown, and he is very upset at himself for making that play. And that will retire the side after the ball was thrown back to the pitcher, and Arbogast did not field it cleanly, but the second baseman came in and threw a strike to the third baseman to retire the side. No runs scored, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. After 4.5, Pierre leads 4-3. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR. Today's KCCR.com. Oh, and was the count to the leadoff hitter in Aspinall. That one will miss outside, and it's 1-1 here to the leadoff hitter Aspinall, Jack Van Camp. Working into, he's got 2 2/3 innings of work relief of Garrett Stout. The 1-1's a swing and a miss, and it's now 1-2. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean here on this beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Rapid City. The game has been very intense. Been a lot of controversy in this ball game. 1-2 pitch. There's a ground ball off of Dahl. That might have actually got him in the elbow when it came back up, and that one's going to sting.
He's grabbing his hand. I mean, it almost looks like that maybe it came back up off the plate, maybe hit him in the bottom hand, in his right hand. I don't know. He's now standing back up, but he was bent over and holding his hand or his lower arm, his forearm, and he's still trying to take a deep breath and try to gather himself.
So here's the 1-2 pitch again from Van Camp to Dahl. Swing and a miss, and Van Camp will have 3 straight strikeouts dating back to the 4th inning, and there's 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Sam Stuckel with 2 for 2 so far. Stuckel was the guy that came around and scored. It made it a 4-2 lead for Renner, and ended up having to go back to third base after that play happened with the umpire calling him safe and then out to end the inning, and then had to return back to being safe. And that caused Coach White to be ejected on that play. And then after Stuckel had to go back to third, that caused Olmstead to get a warning and then end up being thrown out at the end of the top of the 4th inning. That one will bounce in, and it's now 1-1 here to the number 9 hitter, Sam Stuckel, the center fielder.
Yeah, if you've got both head coaches getting ejected at the South Dakota State Legion tournament on your 2020 bingo card, you can mark that space off this year.
1-1 pitch. That one is at the letters. They're going to check his swing, and it's going to be high for ball 2. He did not swing at Stuckel. And you know what? That bingo card's probably got some very crazy things on it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that probably have bingo. And that card's going to be completely full here. 2-1 pitch. That one is going to miss. Nope, it's over for strike 2, and it's now 2-2. The hesitation of the home plate umpire gets me every time. Those borderline pitches are hard to tell if he's going to call it a strike or not, and the hesitation makes it a little tough. 2-2, grounded right back to Van Camp. He'll run it halfway to first base. Throw to first is in time, and there's 2 down. And a good job there by Van Camp to field his position. Who says pitchers aren't athletes?
I didn't say that.
I think you might have said that. I did see.
I got chastised for saying something close to that. I don't think I said they weren't athletes. I just said that a lot of times they just haven't played their positions in a long time, and I took a little Twitter fodder for that.
I did see a couple tweets towards you about that, which made me laugh quite a bit. First pitch is upstairs to Zach Riddle, who has reached base all 3 times he's come to the plate. 1-0 is it fouled off to the left side, and it's now 1-1. Went off the fencing and right down to the on-deck hitter in Schaefbauer. And the count is even at a ball and a strike. 1 for 1 is Riddle. He's walked twice and singled. He scored just once out of those 3 times. 1-1 pitch. That one is just a bit high. I'll end up going over the top of the head of Riddle and to the backstop. So pull out the Bob Euchre. Mark that off the bingo card as well. 2-1's the count to Zach Riddle. Here's the 2-1 pitch. There's a chopper to the right side. Andrew Coverdale will field at second. The throw to first will retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning here in the ball game. First time that Post State has had it in this game, and they still lead 4-3 heading into the top of the 6th inning. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. It is the top of the 6th inning. Post State has a 4-3 lead as they will have in the order 7, 8, 9. Lincoln Keenels, who was left on at the plate so when Garrett Stout was thrown out at third. He will deal with Reese Arbogast for his 6th inning of work with just 19 pitches left to go here on the day for Arbogast and in his season, because he will not be, unless we have a rain outs and rain outs all the way until like next Thursday, he's not going to be available to throw anymore, which we had a rain delay yesterday. There's some rain that could be in the forecast for later this afternoon and into this evening. So, and it is 2020, so there is a spot on the bingo card where you say the state tournament gets delayed 4 days, as you could probably fill out there too as well. The first pitch is over for strike one, I believe. Yes, it is.
Yeah, we're watching storms starting to develop over in eastern Wyoming. We're watching both head coaches standing on the bleachers outside the fence here at Pete Lean Field. We're watching just a lot of odd stuff happening outside of the fences. Meanwhile, there's a game going on between the lines.
Count is 0-2 as Keenels fouled away. As here is the 0-2 pitch from Arbogast to Keenels. That one will bounce in 50 feet. He has a 50-foot ball to Lincoln Keenels. And this count is now 1-2. Season has been relatively normal. I would say the season has been relatively normal. So in 2020, it's got to do something to make, at least before we get done with the season, to be abnormal. And we've seen that the last 2 days. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Arbogast to Keenels. That one will also hit the dirt, and it's now 2-2.
Yeah, and right now, a good at bat from Lincoln Keenels, just to grind an at bat and continue to run up Arbogast's pitch count. I'm not sure who they've got behind him. I don't see anybody down in the pen. They don't have a lot of bench players. I think they've only got 3 or 4 bench players. So whoever's coming behind Arbogast is a position player that's out in the field right now.
From 0-2 to 3-2, the payoff pitch. Keenels will ground and foul. We'll do it again, as that one will hit off the tarp. Stay just in foul territory, but Evers will make his way down to go grab that ball. And, yeah, maybe we'll see a position player come in to throw for Renner here if Arbogast is unable to finish this inning at least. Here's a 3-2 again. Keenels will sky it out to left center field. Going back as a center fielder, he'll make the catch. And Stuckel, that ball, it kind of died out there in left center. And there's one down. Kind of sound like John Sterling there a little bit. The ball just died.
Yeah, I don't think the flag is up today, so it's kind of tough to see where the wind is actually coming from. It's behind the pole. It's actually kind of blowing outwards left field a little bit.
There's another fly ball out to center field. I got that one under control, and so does Stuckel, as that one is going to be caught as he took about 4 or 5 steps behind him to make the catch. And there's now 2 quickly down here in the top of the 6th for now Cade Hinkle. Of course, John Sterling, the New York Yankees radio announcer. Been doing that for quite some time.
Yeah, that's the kind of job that once you get it, you don't give it up until you almost literally got 1 foot in the grave.
The first pitch is outside for ball 1, and you're not wrong. Especially to be a Yankees radio guy, you don't have too many years where you're having to kind of pain through the final month of the season without anything happening. 1-2, or the 1-0 pitch is out in left field, and a leaping catch by Riddle as he almost overran it and got too far into the left center field, but he was able to make the catch into the side. 3 fly ball outs and a 1-2-3 inning for Reese Arbogast. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is a 4-3 lead for Pierre over Renner. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today's KCCR. Today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the 6th inning, Post State has a 4-3 lead. It is 2, 3, and 4. Schaefbauer, Waschenberger, and Garbers. If anybody reaches base, it'll be Schlimgen. Jack Van Camp, who likes to quickly work through his warm-up pitches and work fast as it is. Reese Arbogast has 9 pitches left to go, and your number 1 guy, I would say that you're going to probably going to go with that number 1 guy in those last 9 pitches, but he is looking like he is about out of emptying the tank. First pitch, line shot right to Stout. He make the catch, and that one kind of curved on him a little bit, and he almost sat down with his legs crossed to make that catch.
Yeah, that was a ball that really tailed back on Stout. He took about 2 steps to his left and then actually had to come back to his right. The ball had that much tail on it.
First pitch to Waschenberger will bounce in, and that one was good that it bounced because it was about to hit Waschenberger, but it skipped towards the plate and away from Waschenberger, so it's just ball 1. He has the potential to tie this ball game up with 1 swing. He'll chop this first pitch, the 1-0 pitch, and it'll roll foul, and a great job. The umpire called that foul really quick, too, and the count is at 1-1. That was a good job by Van Camp to let that roll foul, as it is Schaefbauer that is now warming up, going to go warm up in the bullpen. After lining out in the first pitch, he goes straight to the bullpen, and it's now a 1-1 count, and Waschenberger is taking his time to get back to the home plate area. Sure, somebody in the crowd was telling him to hurry up. I don't know if it was maybe a Pierre player that was chirping him, or a Pierre student that was chirping him, or if it was somebody from Renner, because they're kind of split right here, right below us. Might have been one of the students chirping Waschenberger. Pitch is a little bit slow, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, he shot a quick glance into the crowd right behind home plate, and it was not exactly one of the friendliest glances I've ever seen.
I don't want to say who it was, but I believe that whoever it was a hockey player for the Hawaii Capitals. That one will miss, and it's now 3-1. And hockey players are no stranger to chirping at each other. So,
really?
And I believe
I think they appealed it and called him out.
So it's a strikeout of Waschenberger. And that's only 2 strikes to Waschenberger. So now he's got to regather himself a little bit.
Again, if you've got the appeal on strike number 2 that the batter thinks is strike number 3 and is 3/4 of the way to the dugout before he realizes he still has an at bat left on your bingo card,
Gordon will bobble the ball, and the flip to first is going to be in time, and he is out over at first, and Waschenberger.
Oh, Gordon's hurt.
Gordon, really, don't think where he got hit with the ball is one that he wants to get. Where he wants to get hit. Coach Nas will call time to check on his first baseman.
Either got hit in the midsection or in the groin. I'm not quite sure which. It definitely ate him up, and he's. Yep, I think it's a little lower than the midsection is where he got hit.
So there's 2 down. Gordon will regather and catch his breath. Stout will rub the top of his head and make him feel a little bit better. And there's 2 down, and here's Dalton Garbage. As long as the hat's still on, because Adrian Beltray did not like to have the top of his head rubbed whenever he took a helmet or the hat off. Even when he had the hat on, Elvis Andrus did that to him a lot, and he did not like that at all. That was some of the most. That was a lot of fun to watch those 2 guys bicker like they're like an old married couple. First pitch is outside for Dalton Garbers, and it's 1-0. He's reached base all 3 times. He had an RBI single and also walked twice. Gordon seems to be okay. He's shaking it off. He's a hockey player. 1-0 pitch is outside and high, and it's 2-0.
You got an affinity for those hockey players, don't you?
I'm just saying. I mean, they're one of the toughest that there are. Coach Steele would agree with me. I'm sure he's listening right now. He would agree. And there's a lot of other people that would agree with me too. Here's a 2-0 pitch. That one's outside 3-0. Coach White said the same thing when Gordon got hit in the face back in Minot. He came walking down, and Gordon seemed to, he was down on the ground for a little bit, but he goes, he's okay. He's a hockey player. And made Gordon laugh, and he was able to get back up and took him out of the game precautionary, which was good. 3-0 pitch. That one will miss, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Garbers. 3rd time he has been issued a free pass, and he'll bring up Tegan Schlimgen with 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Tying run is on at first base now here with 2 outs in the 6th. Schlimgen has got an RBI, but he got it with a bases-loaded walk. He's 0 for 2 otherwise. A strikeout and a line-out to third baseman Keenholz. First pitch is over for strike 1 to the catcher Schlimgen.
84 pitches on the day so far for Jack Van Camp in his 4 1/3 innings of work. 4 hits, no runs allowed, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts.
And a swing by Schlimgen, and it's now 0-2 as that one was in the dirt.
Yeah, and with Van Camp, this is about what you would expect to see for a pitch count if he had started the game. But remember, Stout started the game and went an inning and a third before Jack Van Camp came in the second.
0-2 pitch is a swing and a miss, and Van Camp is fired up with that strikeout of Schlimgen. And that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. We head to the 7th. Pierre has a 1-run lead, a 4-3 over Renner. You're listening to Post-State Baseball. Today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. Brock Schaefbauer is on the mound here for Renner as he tries to keep this a 4-3 deficit going into this bottom of the 7th. Arbogast is out of the ball game. Moen moves into the game to play at third base for Schaefbauer, and that means Moen now is in the number 4 spot. His spot in the order doesn't come up until 8 guys come to the plate. He'll be the 8th man to come to the plate in the bottom of the 7th if that is the case. But Schaefbauer has got a job, and the job is to get it 0, to give Renner only needing 1 run to keep the ball game alive. But he's got to do it against the top of the order in Coverdale, Iverson, and Stout.
And you got to wonder if there's no activity in the Pierre bullpen right now, but you got to wonder if it wouldn't be a good idea to get Matt Lusk warm and give you an option to come in and save the game. Something he's done well this year, both this year and last year.
Yeah, it's not even that you don't have any faith in Jack Van Camp to get it done, but Van Camp's starting to run out of pitches. So it's not even that, Van Camp could get out of it, but he might run out of pitches before he gets to that point. So it's not even would be a dig or saying that Van Camp couldn't get it done, but if you go over the 105 pitch limit, then all of a sudden you got to have somebody to come in. And Matt Lusk obviously will not warm up in the bottom of the seventh at all because he'll be out playing center field. Here's the first pitch from Schaefbauer to Coverdale. That one's upstairs for ball one.
Lusk would be the fifth batter this inning for Post State since they start at the top of the lineup here in the top of the seventh.
Arbogast was able to get 2 zeros and work around an error in the last 2 innings. As that was upstairs and is now 2-0. He gave up 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the fourth. And a 3 spot from Renner in the bottom of the second. That's all the scoring that we've had. We've had a lot of other fireworks in this game. 2-0 pitch is right down the middle. It's now 2-1. Coach Nathan Nas over at third base. Coach Brian White is out there in the stands with the Rapid City and potentially even Brandon Valley coach too. I think all 4 coaches are out there. 4 head coaches are out there right now. The count is 2-2. Don't see that very often in a 4-team state tournament or in a 4-team tournament where 2 teams are playing and you have all 4 coaches talking to each other outside the ballpark. Here's the 2-2 from Schaefbauer to Coverdale. There's a line shot right at the shortstop, though, in Runya. Didn't even have to leave the ground to make the catch. And there's now the leadoff man retired here in the top of the seventh. That'll bring up River Iverson.
We'll give you Arbogast line for the day as the book is closed on him. Six innings complete, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 of them earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 96 pitches on the day for Reese Arbogast, 67 of them for strikes. He pitched actually a pretty good game, and Post State was able to scratch across a couple of runs when they needed to and get a couple of key base hits.
Yeah, and he did enough to give his team a chance to win. And they still have a chance to win in the bottom of the 7th inning, down by just 1 right now. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Iverson. He'll chop that one foul. It's now 0-2 to River Iverson. Garrett Stout is on deck. That's the name of the game with pitching, especially here when you want your pitchers your starting pitchers to leave and give your team a chance to win a ball game. Here's the 0-2. That one's going the other way to the right side. That one get out of play. And it remains at 0-2. Iverson did a good job there of going where the pitch was at. And he'll stay alive for at least one more pitch. Peyton Zabel is the first base coach. Coach Nas over at third base. Renner had to get maneuver their coaching staff around as Olmsted was ejected after the bottom of the 4th inning. 0-2, swing and a miss, the pitch in the dirt. Schlemgen will throw to first base, and there's 2 down. The top of the 7th, and see if Post State can start a rally here with 2 outs with 3 and 4 up to the plate, and Stout and Gordon trying to add to their 1-run lead. For Renner in the bottom of the 7th, it'll be 6, 7, and 8. Runya, Hackman, and Dahl. And
they are a combined 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts on the day so far.
Say it, but there we go.
Well, you're the broadcaster. I'm just the tag along. So there's no broadcaster's jinx when I say it.
Sure, yeah, that sounds good. First pitch is upstairs or is missed for ball 1. I don't know if that was upstairs or not. The 1-0 pitch to Garrett Stout. That was missed and is now 2-0, and I just lost both my score sheets. The count is now 2-0, and if anybody was able to find those down there, hopefully they can bring it back up to the scores to the press box up here. 2-0 pitch. That one is skied out of play, and it's now 2-1. I can't believe that just happened. The wind just took it away from me.
Yeah, and
lifted my hands up for 1 second.
Again, 2020.
If you had that on your bingo card. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one will miss. It's now 3-1.
John's score sheets blow away. Yeah, that's upper right-hand corner for me, big fella.
You're close to blacking out the bingo card. Count is
just in this game.
The 3-1 pitch. There's a ground ball to the right side, and that will be fielded by the second baseman, Hackman. The throw to first will end the inning, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. We have played 6.5, and Post State has a 4-3 lead over Renner. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Back in a minute. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today's KCCR, today's KCCR.com. Mason Runyo will lead things off here in the bottom of the 7th inning. We've got Eric Booth on the hunt for my score sheets here with in the bottom of the 7th inning. As first pitch to Runyo misses low for ball 1. As we look at Runyo's stats, good thing we got a game changer. As it is 0 for 3 so far is Runyo. The 1-0 pitch, that one will be missing low for ball 2, and it's now 2-0 to Runyo. He has struck out twice so far here in the ball game. Renner needs 1 run to keep the ball game alive, 2 to win it here in the bottom of the 7th. Both teams with 5 hits each. The 1-1 or 2-0, is over for strike 1 now, 2-1.
Yeah, and the leadoff batter in the 7th inning in a game like this is really big. If you can get him out, you take a lot of pressure off. If he gets on base, you put a lot of pressure on the team that, in this case, has the lead and is in the field.
Count is now 3-1 here to Mason Runyo. Jack Van Camp up to 88 pitches. He's up to 90 pitches. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That one is taken for strike 2, and it's now 3-2. Didn't have to wait for the hesitation on that one. And thank you to Mr. Eric Booth for grabbing my papers, and I'll hold on to these much tighter here the rest of the game. 3-2 pitch. There's a ground ball that's chopped foul down the third base line, and it remains at 3-2.
So if this were a hockey game and we were doing our 3 stars afterwards, I think our first star goes to Eric Booth.
It absolutely would. Eric Booth would be the number 1 star of this ball game. Here is the 3-2 pitch from Van Camp to Runyo. Fouled back again. Of a third payoff pitch upcoming. And this one-team season will end at some point here in this inning or in the next couple if we have to go into extras. Here's the full count pitch. Over for strike 3, and there's 1 down as Runyo is running up for the 3rd in the ball game.
There's that backdoor curveball of Jack Van Camp's, and Runyo was ready to go to first base, and the home plate ump had another view of it, and he no hesitation on behalf of the home plate ump. He rung him up right away, much to Runyo's. He did not like nor agree with that call.
First pitch to Caden Hackman is upstairs for ball 1. He walked 4. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Van Camp to Hackman. There's a hard ground ball through the hole on the left side and for a base hit. And the tying run is aboard here with 1 down in the bottom of the 7th inning. And then I'll bring up Aspen Dahl, who had a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd, and he's been a strikeout victim twice. 6 in the ball game for Renner. 3, 6, and 4 for Renner. 4-5-0 for Post 8.
Yeah, and just how big is that strikeout now? Because if Van Camp does not record that strikeout, then you would have, assuming Hackman gets the hit, there would be runners first and second with nobody out, and then that becomes absolutely Dahl becomes a candidate for a sacrifice bunt. But right now, with 1 out and a runner on first, Dahl even is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. You got to put the bat in his hand because you don't have an out to give away.
Peyton Zabel went out to have a quick word with Jack Van Camp. Might be talking about his pitch count and how many he has left to go. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Van Camp to Dahl. They'll try and bunt it. He will bunt it off of Dahl, but he was in the box, and they said it's going to be a foul ball. And these Post 8 guys have got to be let's either Coach Nas or Coach Zabel talk to the umpire because he's already thrown out 2 guys. You don't want anybody to be ejected in this ball game. Count is 0-2. I think that was the right call too. I think Dahl, although he was leaning out of the box, he was still in the box. And so it's just a foul ball, and it's now 0-2.
And again, I have to feel for these umpires. They have certainly had their share of tight calls today.
The 0-2 is grounded past the third baseman and Keen Olsen into left field. Rounding hard at second was Hackman, but he slipped, so he has to stay at second base. And now the winning run is at the plate. Winning run is on at first base here as Sam Stukel now will come to the plate. He is 2 for 3 with a double and a single and an RBI.
And Stukel, even though he's the number 9 hitter, is really more of a second leadoff hitter for the Renner Royals.
First pitch will get off the mask of Finkel, and it's going to get to the backstop. And now it's 2nd and 3rd, so the winning run now is in scoring position. And just like that, a base hit could win the ball game. Infield will be drawn in to keep the runner at 3rd, and Hackman over on at third base. This has gotten into a very intense ball game very quickly from the first pitch all the way now here in the bottom of the seventh. The 1-0 from Van Camp is upstairs, and it's now 2-0.
101st pitch of the game for Van Camp. So in all likelihood, depending upon the length of this at bat, this is potentially his last batter.
Here's the 2-0 pitch to Stukel. Upstairs, 3-0. And might as well even put him on first base and have the bases loaded in a force play at home. For 3-0 count, and then you save another pitch for Van Camp to go after. 3-0, that one's over for strike one, now 3-1. And unless he gets him here in this pitch, it will be Van Camp's last batter of the day, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's the 3-1 from Van Camp to Stukel. Fly ball, that's going to be foul out of play. And it's now a full count. And this is a big pitch. Either base is loaded. Well, I guess if the ball's not put into play, the base is loaded or 2 down. A base could win it. Ground ball in the infield. May not tie the ball game up. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Outside, and it's a walk. And that's going to be it for Jack Van Camp. The bases are now loaded. Not the worst thing in the world, although Van Camp is out. He's going to have to come out of the ball game. Matt Lusk going to have to come in to try and close this out. But now that you have a force situation for any a ground ball anywhere in the infield, you throw it home, or I guess you could potentially try and turn 2 up the middle. And you have confidence in Stout and Coverdale to turn a double play up the middle. It's not where you're going, okay, well, every once in a while they can turn a double play. They're good enough to get a double play turn quickly, but a ground ball can go home with it and get that first out, get that second out. With Matt Lusk coming to the hill, Van Camp will most likely go out to center field, and A.J. Kane will stay over and right.
Yeah, and I think this is a situation where, for defensively, I think you pull the corners in, you put the middle infield back, you put it at double play depth, and you leave the outfielders in their normal depth positions because you've got the 1-out lead or the 1-run lead right now. So if the run scores, that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
You're still alive to play into extra innings. You cannot let that runner from second score. So you really you can't allow a base hit, because in all likelihood a base hit is probably going to end the game. So a fly ball to the outfield just has to come into the infield, probably has to come into third base. Again, best thing that would happen for post 8 right now would be a ground ball hit right at an infielder to start some kind of a double play. And like you said, John, for a game that has had all kinds of drama on all kinds of levels, it's no surprise that we're going to probably end on some high drama.
Yeah, we have come all the way here to the bottom of the 7th, and I will say this too, and granted they got out of it in the first inning, but Post State has had the bases loaded, has allowed Renner to have the bases loaded in the first, second, and third innings. So this is the 4th time the bases have been loaded in this game for Renner. They've scored 3 runs with the bases loaded in 3 different innings. And you're hoping that they don't score that 4th run with the bases loaded, and especially you don't score that 5th run with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
17 base runners for Renner so far, 7 hits and 10 walks. That's a lot of base runners and 6+ innings of work.
And that is why Van Camp, his season is on the mound is done. He will not be able to throw again. And again, like we said, unless we have delays up until Thursday, he's not going to be available to pitch in game number 2 or tomorrow as well if Post State gets there. Matt Lusk is on the mound. Here's the first pitch from the windup with the bases loaded to Zach Riddle. Is right down the middle for strike 1. This is Matt Lusk, his opportunity. He is the closer for Post State. He's got 4 saves on the season. Looking for save number 5. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one will miss low, and it's now 1-1.
Yeah, and if there's ever a bigger situation that any of these young men have been in, you'd probably have to look hard to find it right now.
1-1 pitch to Riddle. That one will miss low, and it's now 2-1. No place to put him. Got to go after him. A walk will tie the ball game up. Give your defense a chance to make a play to either win or keep the ball game going. 2-1 pitch. Line shot. Coverdale makes the catch. The throw to first. They got a double play, and they won the game 4-3. to keep the season alive. Post State will play tonight after a double play. Turn from Coverdale to Gordon at first. And Renner had the opportunity with the big one down. And they double off the runner at first base. And the season remains here for Post State. They will play the loser of Rapid City Post 22 in Brandon Valley later on tonight. What a win for Post State here today.
Boy, and you see both ends of emotions on both sides of the field. For Post State, just absolute joy and elation, and maybe more a sense of relief, a big sigh of relief for getting out of that jam. For Renner on the other side, the defending state champions, hugs, dejection, just deflation. These are young men who, and we heard Coach Olmstead as he was pleading his case right after he got ejected. He said, we've worked too hard to get this far, to find ourselves in this situation. And I say that not to be critical of the umpires, but just the fact that every one of these young men on both sides of this game, and Brandon and Rapid City Post 22, have worked their tails off, not only all season long in 2020, but throughout their entire careers just to get to this point. So let's take our hats off to the Renner Royals. I mean, for a season that almost wasn't, and to get to this point, a lot of credit to them. But I tell you what, Post 8, dug down deep, found a way to win. They're just a gritty team, and I tell you what, right now, we're living to play another day. Even though another day is tonight at 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So
7 o'clock Mountain time. Yep, will be the start of the game. Probably will be a little bit later because we should have started the second game. Actually, 4:30 is the start of the second game, so we're kind of right on time. Coach White comes back to the first base dugout and gets a little bit of an ovation from his crew in that first base dugout. But Pierre wins 4-3 here in game one. We'll step aside for 2 minutes and we will come back and wrap this game up. Post State will play one more time today and a chance to play to get into the championship tomorrow. Back in 2 minutes. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Back here at Pete Lean Field, and the ball game is over, and Post State will play one more time here today, and a chance to stay alive again and play in the state championship. They'll play the loser of Brandon Valley and Rapid City Post 22. They beat Renner 4-3. John Wickler alongside Greg Dean, and Greg, from start to finish, this game literally had everything. I mean, from two coaches being ejected, a play that a run scored had to go back after a pitch was thrown. They returned everybody back to their bases, and it was the right call. But it took a run off the board, which game going to the top of the 8th right now. It'd be 4-4 if that run stayed up on the board. So you got to give a lot of credit to Coach Nas and Coach Zabel for being heads up to make that play, to make that call to the umpire, to have those guys go back. But this game had it all, and Post State, this is a game to use your momentum into tonight. Don't let this game break hinder from the momentum that you picked up in this win. Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. I mean, and you had that call about 10 seconds after that play happened that the Renner runner needed to go back to third base. The run should not have been allowed. It was something I had not thought of, and so kudos to you for being heads up on that. But I tell you what, this is probably one of the craziest, most drama-filled games I think I have ever seen, either in person or on TV or whatever the case may be. I mean, this is just a heck of a game. And again, I got to tip my hat to both teams. I mean, this was a situation where certainly one team or the other or both could have just let their emotions get away with them when you had both coaches get ejected within a matter of about 10 minutes. And to both teams' credit, neither one of them really looked like they got too much out of sorts in the situation. And so give these young men credit. We focused a pretty bright spotlight on the umpire throughout this game, but again, I just don't know that they should have been in this situation, only having a 2-man crew in a state tournament game where your level of competition is going to be at its peak, and you're going to have emotions running high on both sides. And so if I'm critical of anybody, it's whoever made the decision to go with those 2-man crews, because that just should not happen in a state tournament game. Yeah, and these are 4 good teams. That one play that should have gone the correct way goes the wrong way could be a difference in someone's season. Winning and losing a game, their season could come to an end. That's why, in those first 2 rounds, maybe not so much, because there wasn't too many close games. There's a couple of close games, but there's a lot of big wins for these teams where a missed call doesn't really be on the spotlight. And here in this game, turned into a little bit more of a spotlight than what it should have been. And again, there may be mitigating factors beyond the control of the decision makers or whoever made the decision. I got a text during the game saying that the state amateur tournament is going on right now in Mitchell, and that may be taking a lot of the umpires out of the queue that might be available for this Legion State tournament. Because remember, we're 2 weeks later in the season than the State Legion tournament is normally played. So normal year, and again, put this on your 2020 bingo card, the State Legion tournament, state amateur tournament going on at the same time, maybe not enough umpires to go around. The bottom line is it was unfortunate that the situation evolved the way it did, but again, give a lot of credit to the players on both sides. For Renner, you feel for them. Like I said, I think we counted up that there were 6 or 7 seniors on this Renner team. For most of them, their careers are probably done. So you feel for them in that regard. But for Post 8, live to play another game. That's right. They will play that game. It's scheduled for 7 o'clock Mountain Time here tonight. And they will play that one. It'll probably be a little bit later than 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock Central Time. But we'll get on the air right around 6:45 Mountain Time, 7:45 Central Time, probably closer somewhere to maybe closer to 8 o'clock before we get to that point. But they will play the loser of Rapid City 22 and Valley, who they lost to, Brandon Valley, yesterday. And now they've got to go with Matt Lusk has a chance. It'll be interesting to see who they start. Matt Lusk gets the save. He didn't throw 30 pitches, so he can come back and throw tomorrow. But you got to get to tomorrow first, and you'll probably have Matt Lusk start in game number 2. Garrett Stout would be in relief of game 2 because he's still got 45 pitches to work with on the day, and those 2 guys could get you into the state championship, and then you never know what might happen after that. But you're looking to win one more game here today. and put yourself into the championship and you're now one of the last 3 teams to play in the Legion the year of 2020. You're up now. You can be the last 2 teams to play in the state in 2020.
Yeah, and so the rumor I heard third hand coming into today is that Stout probably gets the start in game 3 whenever game 3 is, after last night, today, and tomorrow. Assuming that it would have been Keenhole, Stout, Van Camp, and then Lusk after that. But with using both Stout and Van Camp in this game, like you said, Stout still available, potentially could pitch tonight if you need him, because he still has 40 some pitches available he could throw yet today. But again, I think you probably go with the fresh arm of Matt Lusk. But again, remember, I can't remember exactly how many pitches he threw. He could not throw a full 105 tonight because he already threw 3 or 4 in this game against Renner today. So he's shorted a little bit.
But he is available if he does not pitch tonight and they win. He is available to throw game 1 or 2 tomorrow as well. Post State wins at 4-3 here in game 1 of the day. Rapid City Post 22 and Brandon Valley playing next. We'll be back on the air right around 7:45, between 7:45 and 8 o'clock, to get you set for Post State facing the loser of this game and a chance to play on Sunday in the state championship. For Ray Lewis back at the station, Greg Dean to my right, I'm John Winkler. We'll see you later tonight as Post State will face the loser of Rapid City Post 22 and Brandon Valley. They beat Renner here in game 1. They win 4-3 as we say so long for now from Pete Lean Field.